Today I'm going to show you how to do a perspective drawing. So we will do objects below the horizon line, pretty much on the horizon line, some above, some below, and then an object above the horizon line. I'm also going to show you how to cut a hole out of an object and slice an object kind of in half. This is really good for 3D words, so like if this was the letter A, and you can have this hole in the letter A, or if you were going to draw like a street view perspective, this would be like your street, and then this could be a road or an alley between two buildings. So I recommend turning your sketchbook sideways. What you're going to need is a ruler, a pencil with a cap eraser, and you can use a big eraser if you want as well. You'll start out by drawing a horizon line, and make sure that you pause any time that you need some time to work on it. Whenever I'm using my ruler, I like to spread my fingers out pretty wide, because if you hold it with like 2 fingers or anywhere somewhere kind of close, it's going to swivel. So if you spread your fingers out, it's less likely to move around. So here's our horizon line. I'm going to find a point somewhere in the middle-ish. Don't make it so small that you can't see it, but don't make it so big that it's just like huge. And we're going to start out by drawing a square in our bottom left corner. You can freehand this square, you can draw it with a ruler, it's up to you. For practice, I'm just going to freehand it. And now I'm going to draw the orthogonal lines. So if we remember right, that is the line that goes from our object to the vanishing point. So I'm going to line up my ruler, I'm going to carefully scoot it up to both those points so I can draw a line from my vanishing point to my object. We want to really make sure that it lines up right on the corner. So I'm going to continue that same step here and here. All right, now we've got a cube that kind of just goes on forever, so we need to add our parallel lines to cut this shape off. So I'm going to find my right side of the edge of my cube, and I'm going to create that same right side over here. An easy way to do that is line your ruler up with this right side and then slide it over without tilting it and draw that parallel line between the two orthogonal lines. It should look something like this, and then I'm going to rotate my ruler so I'm lining it up with this top edge, and then I'm going to slide it up until I meet that corner I just made. And I'll draw between these two orthogonal lines. So notice how these two lines are parallel and these two lines are parallel. Now I can erase my extra orthogonal lines here, here, and here. That's why I like to use the small like cap eraser, because you can get really close to your corners without messing them up. And just be careful not to erase your vanishing point. Whenever we draw our orthogonal lines at first, we want to draw them really lightly because we do need to erase them at some point. So next we'll do our object that's partially on the horizon line and partially below, some above. We'll do a triangle. You can erase the horizon line that cuts through it because we want to make a solid shape, not a see-through shape. And then we're going to do our orthogonal lines from these two corners. We don't want to do this one because that would be cutting through our shape, and we're making a solid shape, not see-through. Alright, so I don't want to erase this yet because I still need some of it. So I'm going to go ahead and do my parallel line. So if I line it up with this left side of the triangle and then slide it over, making sure that's the same parallel line, and then I'll draw that line between the two orthogonal lines. So it'll look something like this. On this side, I'm going to erase the extra orthogonals. And then inside the triangle, or the triangular prism, I'm going to erase the horizon line. Now we've got sort of like a little tent shape almost. And for our last shape, we're going to draw a circle in this kind of upper left area. I usually try and draw a couple circles until I feel like it's the right shape. and then I'll erase away the extra lines that I don't want. All right, with a circle, something that's got curved edges, it's a little bit harder to find the orthogonal lines because here we had easy corners to come off of. This one, there's no corners. So what you'll need to do is find the furthest point on the circle. So if I slid my ruler up, keeping one point on this vanishing point, I'm swiveling it up just until my ruler barely touches the edge, that's my line. If you want to test and make sure that it's right, you can actually extend your line all the way through. See how my circle and my line only intersect at one point? That line is running a tangent to this curve. It means it only intersects at one point. So I'll take that away and I'll show you what it looks like if you did not put it in the right place. So some people will put it really close to the edge and they're like, yes, this is close and that looks right. But if you take that line and you extend it all the way through, you'll see that you actually cut into your circle 2 times. So you're going to slice off a little chunk of it. So you want to make sure that your line is actually on the edge and it runs tangent to your circle. So let's try that again. I can slide my ruler over until it just barely shows one tiny point of my circle. All right, now we've got our orthogonal lines. Now we'll need a parallel line to cut it off. Usually, so far, we have used a ruler, which has been really simple. We line it up and we slide it over. But now with this one, since it's not a straight edge, we can't use our ruler to slide it over. So we just have to look at this line right here and recreate it further down, like so. And then you can erase your extra orthogonal lines that go to your vanishing point. All right, at this point, we've created our 3 shapes below, on, and above the horizon line. Now I'll show you how to cut a hole out of one and make slices out of the other. The first step for the cutting hole out of it, you're just going to draw a triangle inside. And the center of the smaller triangle is our hole that we're going to try and create. So I like to test out each edge or corner to see if it works. So if I line this one up, it'll cut into this space, which is not what I want. So I'm going to get rid of that. If I line this one up, it's going to cut right into the middle of this square, which is what I want. I'll test out this last one, see if that's going to cut into the middle of my square. Nope, it'll cut into this flat front, and I don't want that. So the only one I need for this is this inner corner right here. Now, for our last part, we're going to slice this rectangular prism into 2 separate cubes. To start out, I'm going to line my ruler up on this right side. I'm going to make 2 parallel lines, kind of side by side. So you should look like this. It's like 3 little parts on this side. You're going to do the same thing, but following this line, creating 2 parallel lines from this corner and this corner. So right now it looks like you have a little stripe that goes around your whole cube, and you can erase the 3 orthogonal lines that you can still see. So that's here, here, and here. So I'm going to go ahead and erase those. All right, so we've separated our front cube and our back cube, but our back cube is missing its bottom edge and its left edge. So I'm going to find the bottom edge of my front cube, line it up and slide until it meets that corner. I'm only going to draw the line until I run into another line. So as soon as I run into another line, I stop drawing my line. The only edge I'm missing now is my left side of my cube. I'll line it up on this left edge, slide it over until I hit that corner, and then I'll draw the parallel line until I hit the front cube. And there you go. You've got your 3 separate objects, your different forms, and you've cut a hole into one and sliced one in half.